Welcome to episode 2 of aepsil0n Plays BATS. Today I'm going to focus on the building in the background. You probably know this from the last episode, and yeah, as you can see, there has been some progress on the simpler front section. In this episode I'll explain the curved section of the building. As you can see here, one part of the building is already finished, more or less. Could probably use a little work in the details still, but yeah, the general thing is done. And on the other side you see, yeah, there's basically just dirt framing. And yeah, what I'm going to show you is how to get from that dirt framing that you can see on the left side to the building section on the right side. Yeah, it was not quite as simple, so there was some math and calculations involved, as I already told you in the last episode, so I'm going to shed a little bit more light on that. And before I'm going to get to that though, I'll give you a quick update on what else changed on the island so far. Okay, so here we are. This nether hub should be familiar. I haven't changed anything here yet, but if we go to the other side, you'll notice that there is a building now, and that means that once I step through the gate, I am not in danger of being blown up by a creeper immediately, which is nice because you can see, yeah, there's a skeleton, for instance. So this island is not entirely safe from monsters yet. I've placed a couple of torches, so the problem is not as severe as before. But anyway, it's a good idea to have this little house around the gate. And the gate house is placed on the Möbius Avenue, which is a street that I also built. So I came up with this simple design to connect all the buildings on my island with a road network. Including the Nethergate station, so this street here leads to the Möbius building, and there's also another one because I got a little tired of running back to spawn all the time to get food. Got a couple of spiders here, which I don't like. They appear to be not particularly responsive. Anyway, where was I? Right. I grew tired of going to spawn for food, so I built a little wheat farm here. So it's basically a greenhouse, built a little bit of clay and wood, and yeah, maybe you can collect a little weird. Now that I'm here. Okay, so with all food supplies freshly stacked up, ready to go for the rest of the tour. Wait. So right, so you can see here, this is a little whoa! That guy teleported just right before my nose. I think I'm going to head to my base because there is a health regen leaking. Yeah, I should have probably kept my armor. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm safe now. Right, yeah, I curved the wheat in front of the building here a little bit because I don't really need it, it's just for decoration. There we go. Okay, as I've already shown you, there is a couple of more floors here now, so that was fairly straightforward, and I didn't really want to bore you with the process of yeah, replicating the same pattern all over how many times is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, and the corners I've separated. Okay. Yeah. I also took my enchantment table and put it in here, so that it doesn't have to be on the outside, because I think it was over there before. That just didn't look particularly well. So I think I'm also going to start decorating in here at some point. Right, another thing is concerning redecoration. I also decided to have the garden look a little bit more nice. So, yeah, before this was just basically a farm for acacia wood to produce for the building, but now I included some gravel pathways here to play nicely with the beacon pyramid. Also rearrange the trees a little bit and have this bridge over the lake. Then there's a bench over here and another pair of benches over there with a table, some flowers, and just to make everything look a little bit nicer. Yeah, that one's probably in the way. Okay, but I think, yeah, over here I still have to do a little bit more acacia wood, because it really takes a lot of acacia wood, as you can see, and my stocks are not exactly completely full. Yeah, okay, so now we're here. I think it's time to go over to the construction of the missing curved section of the building. So here I'm on the top of the building, and yeah, I'm now going to start to continue the build process. So as I've told you already, this is the section of the the curved section of the building that I've already more or less finished. So we can just walk down here to get a quick impression of what it's going to look like. Yeah, so I hope I can build on the experiences that I collected building this segment here. However, it's not going to be exactly the same, so I can't just use this as a blueprint, because the design is fundamentally asymmetric. And this is the middle section. It's probably also interesting, because now we have two of these acacia wood floors that turn into walls on the way up. And on the way down I have to turn them back into floors again, and ceilings respectively. Yeah, okay, so what we have so far is only dirt scaffolding, so it doesn't look particularly great yet. What I did first was marking the bisector here, basically with a couple of fences, so that I have some reference to see at what angle I am. And this is also important because first I need to establish some geometry on this whole frame, so that I don't just blindly start building acacia wood in some direction and end up somewhere and have no idea what I'm doing. So the first thing to do is actually to connect these glass lines here. So you see probably this is pretty much what used to be the top window. You can see it over there probably. So this is the same line that comes from here and then goes through this corridor here and all the way up, and at some point ends up here on the side of the building. Yeah, so the task that we now have. So you see that this came from the top floor, and now it is sideways. And as I've already explained earlier, this thing should now go to the bottom floor and actually vanish into the ground at some point, so that we end up somewhere like down here. So the idea is basically to have this go down here somehow. I have to really figure out how exactly to do this, because it's not entirely straightforward how to do this. So Same thing goes here. So this came from the bottom, and now it's sideways, just directly opposite to that one. And this now has to go to the top on the other side. So this goes somewhere here, and eventually will end up merging with the roof. Well, at least when the roof is finished, which it is not yet. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with the outer part that goes from here to there, because that's a bit simpler since it's not, well, yeah, the curve is a little bit wider there, and thereby it becomes a little bit easier to actually connect these things, because you have a bit more leeway and liberty in how to arrange the block exactly. Because it's not only a question of math and putting everything together according to some formula, but also to see that it looks more or less acceptable locally, so that you don't end up with a complete massive randomly placed blocks. Okay, so right, to see where this is going, I'll first do one other thing and extend my scaffolding a little bit. Yeah, I realized I'm a little bit short on fences. Let me fix that quick. Okay, so here I am back with sufficient fences, I think. And that, yeah, I built them now from acacia wood. This will probably come back to me at some later point. But what I'm going to do now is this is basically goes from the center of the whole curve, just and shows the intersection with the whole with the wall of the building, and so I also want to have the some similar lines at 30 degrees and 60 degrees to give me some orientation, and also because at 30 and 60 degrees there will be some of these white clay pillars that eventually form the outline of the building. Okay, so what I'm simply going to do is use a little bit of simple geometry and see that we're here at some point, and this is let's call it 0. So we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So there's 0 and 20. What's in the middle? Probably 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here we go. And let's quickly do the same thing on the other side. Okay, that should be right, the right spot. So the great thing now is that we can extend this simply by moving one block straight and one block around the corner, and pretty much end up with a 30-degree line. That gives it some orientation for the other part. Let's also do this on the top. There we go. Ah, damn it. Yeah, I'm switching keyboard layouts. Sometimes it's really confusing because for some reason that doesn't work particularly well with Minecraft. There's a missing piece of dirt here. So everybody's happy about new episodes. It looks, at least Antharian is. Okay, so this should do it now. Yeah, in principle I could also do the top now, but I hope this should suffice as an orientation. as to where I am. Okay, so I'm still going to do a little bit of guesswork here as to what is the most appropriate position, but this at least helps to see me where my points of orientation are going to be and where I have to put in those white pillars. So you may see that this will look something like this over here, and I'm not entirely happy with how it turned out on this side of the building, because it's a little bit curvy and not exactly correct. So this is why I employ this new method now to build the basic frame lines, and I hope it turns out better, and if it does, I probably will end up changing the other side maybe a little bit. So yeah, let's see. Okay, so first of all I have to dig a hole. Let's start with the 45-degree lines, because there I simply have to find some spot. Up there it's just, let me see, where could I put this? Probably somewhere around here. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. The other one is, yeah, I should extend this a little bit. That's no way. Let's place another one so I don't know. People spawn here. I should probably switch my beacon back to a jump boost. That was really helpful when I built this whole dirt framing. Okay, so this should now almost be at the top, or let's say a couple of degrees off the top. So I actually designed it that way that this outline here turns in the exact same way as the whole thing goes around. So this goes from 0 to 180 degrees if you go the complete cycle, and this outline here also has to turn around another axis by 180 degrees, and I made it so that they are in sync, so I can orient myself here. So it should be 30 degrees, so should be a couple of blocks off, maybe not too far. Let's do it here. I think that makes sense. Right. After all that math just comes down to guesswork. Okay, same thing here. Now it should be closer to the side, a little bit downwards, and yeah, it should be roughly between those here. Yeah, that should be easy enough. I'll simply pick this one. Okay, now you're in the way. Okay, and now comes the tricky part. Now I have to connect everything and dig one straight line of glass blocks all the way through. So I only have to go down one block here. Okay, so let's start. Yeah, I don't really need dirt. I have chests of them. In case you wonder, the chests come from terraforming that I did on that side of the building to get some hill out of the way. Okay. Now we have to bend down a little bit more. Maybe that way. Maybe here another one. Then we can go here. Do it like this. Okay, so this is now the point where should really start to get to the other side, to the top. This is tricky because I have to go around this corner a little bit. Maybe I pick on this one and then start here. Is everything just too... continue here. And there. I hope I'm doing this right and it doesn't look crappy in the end. That's okay so far. Okay, I think I can maybe do one other. Only question is, how do I get up there? That's practical. I think I only built it on a whim, but it turns out to be actually useful. Okay, so here we go. And get rid of that again. No, that was too much. Okay, so this is the first part, I'm not going to put in the glass yet. Let's rather do the other half instead. Okay, so I did the inner section now without recording, because that would have just been the same, I guess. And also, well, on the other hand, I was a little bit surprised about how how steep the descent here is. So so it really, especially from the top, this part, it really bends really steeply down, and yeah, this looks interesting. So the next point is actually to fill everything with glass. No. Okay, so apparently just before the finish I ran out of glass, which is a bit sad. Yeah, so I guess I'm going to fill that in later. It's not that horrible. Okay, so now that we have these glass lines, next thing is to fill in the white clay, so these kind of pillars here. While I am building this, let me explain a little bit about how the dirt frame came into existence in the first place. So, after coming up with a mathematical description of the general shape, I had to write a little bit of code to discretize it into Minecraft-compatible cubes. So, because you can only build with cubes in Minecraft and not arbitrary curved shapes. So, the next step was to create some visualization from the discretized cubes, and so first, to get a general overview, I made a little 3D visualization using Maya V, and now this is not exactly the best format for using it as a manual to how to build the whole thing. So the next step was to also plot the individual vertical layers using Matplotlib, and also to see basically color codes here from the top to bottom, which is the next cube that has to be built and which wasn't there on the previous layer. And then I simply went ahead, took tons of dirt and built it layer by layer like a 3D printer. Okay, so that's all done. So now let's see how it looks. There's a floating tree left. I should take care of this anyway. Yeah, the rest was up soon. Well, I hope this will happen soon. So, okay, comparing the two approaches. I would say it looks more straightforward. Okay, there are maybe a couple of blocks more that should be set here. I left outbound for now. Yeah, but in general it looks okay, I think. So I guess it was probably worth applying this approach also to the other side, to get a more consistent look and apply some corrections. But I don't have to change too much because generally it looks okay. It's just, yeah, it's just a little bit curvy here. Okay. So I think this episode has already been long enough, though I only did the simple scaffolding here. So I think for the rest, I will. Yeah, probably defer this to the next episode and maybe create a time lapse from that. Yeah, so to wrap up the whole building process, because I think it takes really some time to do the whole thing. But in any case, I hope yeah, I could at least give you an impression of how this thing is built. So now, this is aepsil0n on the BATS server. I hope you had fun watching this video, and I'll be back soon with a new episode, and till then, see you!